Khameleon, with a K, the female one. Khameleon's already featured in Mortal Kombat 1 as a cameo, but someone made the suggestion to actually design Khameleon as an actual standalone character. I figured that would be interesting because Khameleon hasn't really been a character in-game since Mortal Kombat Armageddon? There's been a lot of MK Armageddon talk on this channel recently, but anyways, I'm tasked with giving her a redesign, so let's see what I come up with. Alright, so as I stated before, I got requested to give Khameleon a main roster redesign. Being perfectly honest, I love the way that Khameleon, both the male and female versions, looked in Mortal Kombat. Never really been a fan of playing with them, just because it requires me to know how each female ninja plays to be able to do anything with them, and I'm not a fan of that. When you start telling me that I have to remember how to play with specific different characters that I may or may not already play with, I'm out as far as picking that character is concerned. But as these things usually go, a lot of the people that I play against know how to play with most of these characters, especially the female ones. So of course, if they pick Khameleon, I'm as good as dead. So that's always fun. I feel like a Khameleon in MK1 would be really insane, considering there's Melina, Sindel, Katana, Tanya. Like, I don't know if they would actually take from so many of the female ninja characters in MK1, or whether they would take from all the females in the game as a whole. Because the last thing I need is a Khameleon that's also using like Lee May's explosives or anything like that. Like, I want no parts of that. But one thing that actually bothers me about MK1 is the thing that I like and don't like simultaneously is, I like the designs of MK1, but the lack of traditional looking ninjas is missing to me. So this gives me an excuse to sort of give Khameleon a redesign that looks a little closer to that vein, at least than a lot of the other designs that we already see. So okay, so starting off, I just gave Khameleon a strong base for her design. I went ahead and did the details of her face. I'm not really sure why I did that. It might have just been instinct, but I didn't need it considering that her face would be covered with the mask anyways, but whatever. So then from there, I started doing the actual design. As a base template in my own mind, I used the Mortal Kombat 3 look just because I like it the most. Well, kinda, sort of. It's the hair that really bothers me. The white hair is something I'm not a fan of, considering it didn't look like that in MK3, and I'm very biased to those original designs. For certain characters, not all. There are certain MK3 designs that can sort of just stay where they are. The ninjas are not one of them though. So her upper body design is sort of ninja outfit that was close to that vein, and also the tights or leggings that I gave her is sort of similar to that as well. But one thing I also wanted to do too, just because I figured it'd be cool, though their skin showing, I still wanted to cover it up as much as possible while still having a part of her exposed, almost to placating to those in the netherrealm spaces, sort of like the covered female designs, but also appealing to those that want the females to see more skin in the game. I figured there's a creative way to go around both of those that simply just doesn't get done anymore. So I designed Khameleon in such a way to try to appease both audiences. But the idea of like a shoulder pad design over top of like the ninja look or outfit, I thought would be cool, and just added longer sleeves to it for the outfit. I also kept the knee pad designs as well from the sort of original characters from both Armageddon and the Kameo. I don't even know what that design is supposed to be. I'm not real familiar with Khameleon's backstory outside of the fact that I believe she's a Tarian like reptile, and I believe she also was trying to turn on Shao Kahn. Outside of that, I don't know anything. And it's a new era of games anyway, so it doesn't even matter what her old story was. But whatever her reasoning is for having that design of those sort of like knee pads or whatever, I gave her an offshoot of those and then went forward in doing her line art. Just going back and cleaning up the old sketchy looks from the planned out base design that I gave her. Just giving more strong, confident lines to be able to play with later on when I start coloring. And then once I got the base of that squared away, getting the details in like little small metal pieces like the two knee pads and then the shoulder pads and like her hair, it was on to coloring. Before I continue, just wanted to let you guys know, if you like the designs and want to see more of them that I do here on this channel, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you do subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell so you get updates on my newest videos. But getting that out of the way and getting to Khameleon's coloring, I started off with the gray, or sort of a weird color gray that she has in her design, but I gave her that as a base to start off with, just so I get an idea how everything was piecing together as I filled her in. It's weird looking at the design. I felt like I should have gave her weapons, like something was missing, but then I realized I can't give her any weapons because that's part of the thing with Khameleon. She kind of has everyone's weapons, so it would be pointless. But in any event, after getting like the base of that gray color in, I went ahead and did the shoulder pads and all the sort of black outlines for different spots that I had in the design. Then it was doing her skin color, which is almost like this weird grayish pale looking design too. I wanted to make it translucent, but the way I do my backgrounds, there was no way to pull that off without either having her look like she was outright glowing or looking like the design was like blending into the background somehow, so I just left that alone. I figured to do something transparent like that, I don't need a background on her at all. Something I should have played with before choosing Khameleon as a design, to be quite honest with you. But anyways, because it's really a simplistic color scheme when it comes to her, just because, I mean, it's Khameleon. There's the sort of lightish gray color scheme that she has, and then the skin tones, and there's really not much else as far as colors are concerned. So pretty quickly I was already on to doing the shading, which I started to fall in love with the design a little bit more once I started shading it. Doing the shading on like the hair and the mask, it really started to like pop together to me. And not to sound like a pervert, but also doing the shading on like her cleavage and around like the size of her body, and then around where she has like her leggings and the weird knee pads that I gave her. This design started coming together really nicely after that, at least in my own mind. She looks very different from the other female ninjas in the game, or females. I know she would probably look more unique if I gave her the white hair, but I'm just not a fan of that. I played with it a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. But in any event, I finished the shading in on her actual look, and then went ahead and did the specular highlights. Or before I did the specs, I just did her normal highlights in general. What am I talking about? Because I needed her regular highlights to look somewhat normal in the design, so I knew what I was playing with. And then that feeling that I had of something being missing was later on in my mind. I just felt like I needed to add like a sash or something, so I went ahead and did that and added the same little design onto her sash and went from there. And then after getting those like highlights in on like her body and her hair and whatnot, went ahead and did the specular highlights just on the outside of like the left side of her body and small little metallic pieces that she had. And that was all she wrote. And I had this brand new Khameleon design for Mortal Kombat. I actually like this design, on par with the Katana one that I did recently. It's one of my more enjoyable female designs that I've done for Mortal Kombat, at least in a short little while. I'm not opposed to it. I'll let you debate whether or not this design would have looked better with white hair or brown hair. I'd love to get your feedback on that in the comments below, because the dark hair was just my preference and I just left it that way. So fire away. But in any event, as I said earlier, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And you all have a good one. And I'm out.